1999, laid the foundation. Some people came and took it to a decking, and some people were trying to raise it to first floor, and some people came and knocked everything down. That's the situation where we are now. Everything has been knocked down. Nothing works. And I'm somebody who can say this exemplarily. I became a governor through the court when President Obasanjo and Atiku were in government. I did not pay the court 1 naira. I was sitting in my house in the office, and the court declared me winner. When a governor is hosting them, it can't happen in Nigeria today. When I was being impeached, the president sent people to come and intervene on my behalf. Ken Namani came begging House people not to impeach me. Today, the president impeaches the person. So that is the thing. So it's collapsed. So it failed. They were begging my house not to impeach me. And they were PDP. I was in Africa. And they were begging. President was calling me and said, Peter, are you okay? Even when I was impeached, President Obasanjo called me and said, are you okay? Are you safe? When I go back from the court, when court eventually declared me under Andiuba, President Yaradua called my phone in London and said, congrats. I said, President, I can't come back because, you know, if I come back, these people, he said, tell me the flight in which you're coming back. And I told him, when I came in the first time, military people came to receive me at the airport. I couldn't believe it. And took me straight to him. Now the president will ask me not to come back here again. So it failed. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about how we are going to rebuild it. It's collapsing.
Barrister, you heard everything former Governor Peter Obi said, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so my problem is, he said that, obviously everything he said is correct. My problem is, he said something. He first of all gave an illustration of the benefit of democracy, what he benefited while he was a governor, and how he trusted the court. Now, I don't know, where was he in 2023? My question is, when I watched this video, I said, why this man, why did he think this is, why is he coming to this, why is he arriving at this conclusion now? That I expected him to have arrived at this conclusion much earlier than, especially when in 2023, general election, Mahmoud Yakubu declared illegally, fraudulently, criminally, declared Bola Tinubu the president as the winner of the election and the president of Nigeria. So I don't get it. I expected him not to trust the court at that point, because the court at that point, we've had a series of problems with the court even at that juncture. Yet he chose to trust the court and go with the court. Barrister, what do you make of this statement coming from Peter Obi, that he categorically, literally said that democracy has collapsed in Nigeria? Why now? Didn't he see that 2 years ago?
Well, you have to excuse him for making that statement. I mean, somebody who benefited from the court on a large scale, whom the court returned as governor when he was illegally removed. You expect such a person to continue to have confidence in the court. After all, he has benefited from the court judgment before. Now, when you come to 2023, it was not only Peter Obi that had confidence in the institutions, even the court. On your show before, we have discussed the approach to the elections of 2023, how the whole country was confident, because these people came with a new electoral act. They promised a lot of things, transmission of results in real time, IRF, all these things. And even the intellectuals, even lawyers like me, we were saying maybe at long last, we have got it right. It was a national phenomenon. A lot of people had confidence that for once in our electoral process, things were going to go well. In the past, elections were manipulated between the polling station and the collation centers. After the results are announced at the polling station, before you reach the collation center, everything is changed. This whole result are resigned, new results are resigned and presented. Now, when they came with the amendment of the Electoral Act in 2020, they eliminated the middleman between the police station and the collation center. They said results will be transmitted directly from police station to RF, so that you can sit in your house, you can on the road, on your phone, you can be watching the result live. And that gave confidence, along with other innovations that were captured in the Electoral Act, like the emergence of candidates from a duly conducted Congress by the parties. All these things gave confidence to Nigerians that maybe at long last we have got our electoral process right. Only to see what INEC now did. They threw away the electoral, threw away their own regulations which they made. And people said, the court will put things right. Only for us to rush to the court and to see that the court was a massive disappointment. So you can excuse him for having benefited from the court and expecting that perhaps this one too will be before. But in between the time he was brought back as governor and 2023 elections, a lot of water has passed under the bridge. That is why he got it wrong. The indications all along the way from that time to 2023 were there. But the eyes of the people who was put over our eyes by the amendment to the electoral and the campaign, the INEC went around the country assuring the citizens that this time things will be different. Perhaps if with benefit of hindsight, we would not have accepted or swallowed hook, line, and sinker the assurances that INEC chairman was giving. But we can only say that in retrospect. So I will excuse him for not following all those indicators, for still having faith that the court will salvage the situation, and to be massively disappointed by what the court did, what INEC did, and what the response of the court, just like all of us were. But for honestly, proper people who have been observing the scene, and I have said it repeatedly everywhere I go, that we have a system that cannot work. It did not work in the First Republic. It did not work in the Second Republic. And it is not working now. The way the day will go sometimes is shown by the money. When the system starts, in 1999, when the system starts, you could begin to see the negatives building up as we came up, as we went along, until you saw that we were not going in the right direction, we were going in the wrong direction. And once we embark on the wrong direction, at a point, the system will fail. That's what happened in the First Republic. That's what happened in the Second Republic. That is what is happening now. We are going in the wrong direction, and along the way, the system will collapse.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I have a slightly different opinion from you, because I still blame him. No matter what, because just like I mentioned earlier, prior to 2023 election, Nigerian judicial system we've already seen everybody. It was the decadence was a clear phenomenon. That is just the reality. And besides, what do you expect? I remember even that time you and I were on this show, when we were talking about the court process. Then when he went to court, you clearly said that it would be difficult. I was asking you how do you see the result, the court case, the electoral court case coming out? How do you project it? And you say you don't see. I remember, I can't quote you verbatim right now, but I remember paraphrasing rather, you said you don't see Obi coming out victorious because you said when you saw the case, the available evidences they presented at the courts then, based on what they have presented so far, it will be difficult because I know you are very, when it comes to electoral cases, you are very experienced as well in election cases, sort of as a lawyer. So based on your experience, you said it will be difficult for them to actually the time frame, especially with the time frame. So, okay, that was what your focus, your emphasis was the time frame, the time given by law. It will be impossible for Peter Obi to prove his case from 700 and get all the evidence from 774 local government areas. So if you as a lawyer, so obviously he has lawyers, he has people close confidence close to him. Obviously that I expect, and with himself again, someone that is close to the establishment, he actually has connection with the establishment. So he knows the system better than even me myself, especially me myself that has nothing to do with government. He knows how bad, he knew how bad the system was, even better than myself, far better than myself. Yet he still went ahead to trust in the system. I didn't expect it. And for him, for somebody, for common sense, because even me, as a layman and someone in my lowest position, even then, after when the election was declared in favor of Bola Tinubu, I just knew that we can't get it right other than a revolution, a protest. Court can never. For Bola Tinubu to spend that much, for the INEC chairman to open his dirty mouth, his stinking mouth, and tell opposition to go to court. He was flagrantly announcing the result, illegally announcing the result the wrong way, and asked the opposition to go to court. When I heard that, I just said, no, this is done. We will never get reprieve from the court. We will never get justice from the court. Peter Obi, I expected him to have known that the court of his time, the Obasanjo time, we all know that even though during Obasanjo time we had some corrupt cases in court, but it was not as bad as it became as at 2023. Because after Obasanjo, Yar'Adua came in, then Jonathan, then Buhari, the judicial system has gone so, in comparison to that of Obasanjo time, it has gone so rotten. So the difference is clear. He couldn't have, and besides, Anambra State then, you should understand that Obasanjo, the dynamics then was completely different from what it was 2023. Obasanjo, everybody knew Obasanjo was Obi's, one of your governors. I don't know if Obi was his favorite governor then, but they were very close. Because Obi was even among the Presidential Economic Council. He was a member of the Economic Council of then President Obasanjo. So they were very, very close. So Obasanjo was on his side. So what did he expect? Of course, because Obasanjo was on his side, the court will play the right role. Obviously, Obasanjo must have pressed the right buttons, placed the right calls to relevant authorities to warn them to stay off corruption. So Obasanjo played a role in that. There's no doubt about that. Unlike in 2023, there was no Obasanjo to play a role. The sitting president, Buhari, was completely against him. So the entire system, establishment was against him. The scenario that played out in 2023 was completely different from, completely opposite of the scenario that played out in 2023, 2003, as Obi as the governor of Anambra State. So, that is my gross against Obi. So I don't excuse him. I will never excuse him for not to have done the right thing. And the needful, to me, could have been for him to call for massive protest, because Obi had a very, very organic, and this cannot be, I can't overemphasize this. That's just the truth. That Obi had an opportunity, a golden, I don't even call it, goes beyond, a diamond opportunity. That's the word, that's the right word. He had a diamond opportunity that never happened in the history of Nigeria. It was unprecedented, and he blew it up. He blew it up. The first time in the history of Nigeria that a presidential candidate, a political figure, will actually attract an organic, when I say organic, really, really organic, unfiltered, raw support from the masses, from the public, especially the younger generation. Obi did not pay for crowds. He had organic crowds. He didn't pay for supporters. He had organic supporters. People who even spent their own money to support him. Poor people who spent their own money to attend his rallies. Yet, he blew it up. At that point, Obi was so popular to the extent that, especially the obedient, they were so passionate about him, enthusiastic about him, and they were ready to listen to whichever way he directs the pendulum to swing. And at that point, we're expecting that the pendulum will swing into protest. At least call for a public protest. First of all, when he rejected the don't say we are going to court. Ask for protest. I expected him to call for protest, and whichever way the protest could have ended, it's only God knows. But at least try fighting. I like people with fighting character, fighting spirit. Try fighting it out. Not trying to behave like a reverend father. If you want to be a reverend father, go to the church and become a reverend father, and don't go. And politics is not meant for reverend fathers. It's a dirty game, and if you don't play it dirty, you can't achieve success. And that is the dirtiness that Bola Tinubu is so perfect in. He actually played it dirty, and that's why he is where he is today. He forced himself on us, unfortunately. Barrister, if you have anything to say.
I keep saying that Obi is a decent gentleman. He is not a revolutionary. He chose to operate within the system, to participate in politics within the system. And he had virtually no choice than to continue with the system by going to court. Like I said, he is not a revolutionary. He does not have the fighting spirit that require a revolution or to lead one. He is more like in the mode of Jonathan than an Obasanjo.
But he has no business in the Nigerian politics of today. In the Nigerian politics of today, you will need that fighting spirit.
This is exactly what I keep saying. I said that this system is rotten, is fake, is fraudulent. If you, however, knowing what the system is, you choose to participate in that system, to operate in that system, your choices are very limited. You have to operate within that system. I want a revolutionary who will come out. Somebody like Sowore, although his own policies and personality, I'm just making a comparison.
Yes, of
course. Somebody who will not operate within the system that we have, but who will galvanize and mobilize the Nigerian masses to take over power. That is the only person I can think of as salvaging the situation. Once you accept to operate within this system, your limitations are more than 70 or 80%. Even if you were to end up taking the power, even if Obi had taken over the power, he is so limited by law, by constitution, by the courts, by legislature, by so many factors.
That's why I hate the democracy.
Going forward, will be also limited in equal measure.